Hello there and welcome back, my fellow Pythonistas. So in this video I would like to show you let's say something that I have been doing for quite some time, but I didn't really find any, let's say, more authoritative examples for that. So the problem statement goes like this: how do you write a Python script that can handle running on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, or whatever platforms? So the Python scripts I have been writing lately are like this. So we have a log folder, a configuration folder, and maybe some output folder, but let's just leave that out. And in this video I would like to show you my approach to that. So for logging, I'm usually using the logging module, and I would like to demonstrate you how I usually prepare a skeleton for my scripts, which allow me to develop a solution for a problem which has a decent, let's say, environment. It doesn't matter if it runs on Windows or Linux. We just would like to make sure that it fits every criteria. So let's create a directory and let's call it test app. And inside this test app we would like to have a logs folder and a config folder, and we are about to write our test app.py. So test app.py. Here, usually what I do on my application first is that I import the OS module, I import the logging module, and I also import from the logging the raw, so not just the logging, so logging dot handlers import rotating file handler. Sorry, I need to cheat. So basically this is one thing that I usually do. And how do you make sure that when you run your application, it can find the relative path to a log folder, the configuration folder, and basically any folder based on the location where it lives? So let's just save and exit this. And if we shoot the ls-al, we see that we have the test app and we have the logs and the config folder. So what we would like to do is to ensure that it doesn't matter if it's running on Windows or Linux or Mac OS. We would like it to always take the current folder where the script lives and try to find the log folder in that folder and the configuration folder as well in that folder. So in order to do that, what I may have come up with is that I say that I would like to have a CWD, which is short for current working directory, and I would like to have the os.path.sep.join. And this is kind of important because what you say here to Python is that you take the current path separator. So on Windows it looks like \, on Linux it looks like /, and based on that you would like to join a specific folder, and the specific folder is your current folder where the script lives. And what you would like to do is to say that os.path.abs path, and we would like to say that _file. So this _file is kind of special because it tells the absolute path for the file which is currently being executed. So it doesn't matter where you are, it will give you an absolute path for that file. And what we would like to do from now on is to split this one. And if we have split it, what we would like to do is to split based on the os.path.sep. And we would like to have the very last part of this. So now if I save it and print out the current working directory, what you will see is that it's currently executed under the D Git repository Python test app. And basically from now on we can customize where our configuration lives and where our log folders live. So let's get back to our application. So usually I say that our logs live under the os.path.sep.join, and here we can specify a folder or a list, and this list will consist of two items. First one is the current working directory, and the second one is the logs directory. And if we print the logs, then what you will see here is that we have the Git repository Python test app logs. And what we can do is to also create a variable for config, and the same logic goes here. So os.path.sep.join, and we would like to specify our array with the current working directory and the config. And let's get just back to it. So print, and we would like to have the config. So if we execute this script, you will see that currently we have our current working directory independent of the operating system and the logs and the config folder. So now what needs to happen is that we would like to verify or check if the folder structure is given. So we would like to iterate over each and every folder and check if they exist. So for example, we would like to say that for folder in we create an array, and here we have the logs and the config, and we say that if os.path.is there, then we substitute the folder and say that print folder is good. Otherwise, if the folder structure is not given, then we say that missing folder, aborting execution. Now, if we run this app, it says that folder is good. What we can do is to customize that message. So we say that folder is good and simply substitute your folder and create an F string of it. And now if you run this app, it says that folder is good and showing us the actual folder, which is good. So that's basically one part. The second part, which I want to, let's say, show you, is that how you can dynamically create your log file. So our log file should be something which is coming from the os.path.sep.join. And what do we want to join here? So we would like to need the logs, and we would like to name the file itself. So let's say our file is called app.log, And if we execute it once again and say that print log file, then we will see the following. I said we would see the following. So this is the location for our log file. And it's no surprise that we have included the logging module with the rotating file handler. So we would like to create something which is independent of the operating system, but allows us to log. So logging dot config, or rather basic config, and we would like to specify a format, and let me copy and paste it for you. So basically we would like to log the time, the level, and the message. So the level can be debug, information, warning, error, and critical, as far as I know. And after that we can specify the level, which should trigger something to be written to the log file. So let's say that the debug is something that we would like to log, or anything that's debug or above. What we need to do is to specify our logger, and the logging get logger. This is where we get to name our logger. So test app. And now what we can do is to specify a handler, and this handler is equal to the rotating file handler, and this rotating file handler is going to take the log file where we would like to emit these messages to, and we would like to specify some extra arguments like max bytes, backup count, and a delay. So max bytes is 1,000,000 bytes, the backup count is 100, encoding UTF, and the delay is 0. So if you set the delay to 0, then it says that anything that counts as a, let's say, logging event is going to immediately be written to the file, which is kind of nice. So now that we have this handler, we need to set the level, and we would like to have the logging.info. And after that we have set the level, what we can do is to have the handler.set formatter, and this formatter needs to be also configured. So logging formatter, and we basically specify the time, the same format as it was for the logging basic config. This is useful because you may have multiple handlers, but we would like to specify the rotating file handler which writes to files, and the basic config specifies a general configuration for any handlers. So currently we are overwriting the one that goes to the file, and we leave the rest in a standard format. And what we can do is to say that logger.add handler and handler. Now if we save it and execute it, everything seems to be good. And what we can do is to say that logger.info and logger.critical. And if you want to be really serious about it, we will raise system exit. So now, as you can see, the output message is a little bit different, and it gets to the logs app.log. So what happens if I remove the config folder? Now if we execute this, we will see that we have an information message that the log folder is good. Otherwise, we will see that there is a missing folder. So we are aborting execution and nothing executes after that. So I'm not sure if I'm 100% right or I got it right, but this is kind of the structure that I try to build my Python applications based on. And this, in my opinion, gives you a decent structure, and it gives you an abstraction of the current operating system that you are running your solution on. So if you like this video, you may want to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.